Okay then, so this is bigger than I expected. Hello Star Wars collectors, and welcome to another Bossk Bounty video. And this bad boy just arrived in the mail today from Hasbro Pulse UK. It is the Star Wars The Vintage Collection Boba Fett's Throne Room from the Book of Boba Fett. I can't actually remember when I pre-ordered this, it seems so long ago, but it was a long time ago. And I've got to say, this is much bigger than I thought it was going to be in terms of the box. It was impeccably packaged. It comes in two outer boxes. You've got the shipper box, and then you've got another cardboard box, and then you've got this box as well. So my box looks to be in pretty much perfect condition. There doesn't seem to be any dented corners or anything like that. And the artwork on this looks phenomenal. Now, of course, this is the first time that I have actually seen, and many of you have probably seen this box in high definition. Previous to this, we only really saw it in some grainy images, but here it is. As you can see on the box art with the photo there of the diorama, they've got it set up for the Book of Boba Fett, of course, because it is the Book of Boba Fett. But as we know, there is a Jabba the Hutt set coming out where you're able to switch all the pieces out and make it into a Return of the Jedi diorama. On the box here, we can see that we do have the Bib Fortuna Tatooine, or the Fat Bib Fortuna. In this video, I will be opening that figure. A lot of you might be thinking I'm mad, but I'm going to do it because this is a review, and it wouldn't be a proper review unless I opened that figure and actually showed you the figure. And also I want to see what's underneath all those robes, the sculpting and everything, and what parts they've used. I've heard that he's all new, and we might be able to see if they can use that figure for anyone else. But the box art looks incredible. You've got it all set up there with some of the Jabba's goons. You've got Boba Fett and Fennec Shand on there as well. We've got the Kenner logo, the Book of Boba Fett logo there. And we'll just have a look at some of the other sides of the box. Apologies for the glare, but this box is massive. I can't actually wait to get the set out of the box, so I don't have to look at the box anymore. But you can see some of the images on the side of the box there of the things that you get with it, some of the accessories, the throne and things like that. And you know, just the way that you can sort of get it set up however you want it. So on this image here, you've got Bib Fortuna in the throne, and in this one you've got that classic image there of Boba Fett and Fennec Shand, which looks pretty awesome. I think if I was going to have this set up as a Boba Fett's throne room, that is how I would definitely display it, with her sitting on the arm of the throne there. I think that looks pretty awesome. One end of the box shows you all of the parts and accessories that you do get in the set, and the other end of the box shows you Bib Fortuna sitting in the throne there with all the accessories around him. And this is what it looks like inside the box. 3 more boxes to open with all of the parts, so amazingly packaged. And each one of the 3 internal boxes has this awesome black and white image of what's on the box basically, and also the Vintage Collection logo is on the top there, which is pretty cool as well. So all 3 have that. So I'm now going to open all the boxes, get all the boxes out of the way so we've got the desk nice and clear, and then we can look at all the pieces and we can put the thing together and take a look. Okay then, so the smallest of the 3 boxes has what seems to be all of the accessories, all of the small pieces in little baggies and what have you. And there's the figure all nicely packed away, collector grade. But I'm going to be opening that one, so we'll see what the card back looks like in a second. Alright, and in the other 2 boxes were all of the main pieces, and you can actually see how big this thing is. I'm actually shocked at how big it is. I mean, I've seen it in person at Celebration and what have you in a cabinet, but there's nothing quite like getting it in hand and experiencing it for yourself of how big this set is. And yeah, it's big. There's a lot of pieces, but I'm going to put it all together so we can just have a look at it built. Then I think we'll have a look at the Bib Fortuna card back and figure, and then we'll put it all together with all the accessories and see what it looks like all set up. Now, of course, with most play sets and vehicles that you get in the Vintage Collection, you always get a Kenner style instruction booklet, and this one is no different. So you can see the set there on the front, and this one's actually got a few pages to it because there's a few steps that you need to do to put it all together. So you can see there's those 3 internal boxes, and then they just tell you basically how to put it all together. And it's just got multiple pages in there because there's so many pieces to it, but absolutely awesome. And there you go. So that's just showing you what's involved, and we'll put it all together now. Alright, so here it is, all built. It was a pretty simple build really. It's in 3 main sections. You've got the bottom piece here, you've got the archway here, and then you've got the back panel there. You have the grills on top here which let the light in through this top piece, which also need to be put in correctly, but the instructions tell you how to do it. So I didn't really think you needed me to show you, and also it would have been really awkward to show you because of the size of this thing and the space that I've got to work in. But there you can see it all set up without any of the accessories. We've literally got the throne, which is a separate piece here, and the dais, which moves in and out. It's on wheels. Of course, with the new Jabba one that we're going to be getting, that will be a slightly different Paint Apps version of this, but they do just slide in and out of there nice and easily. But this thing is going to look absolutely fantastic on display on a shelf. It seems to be the right size for a shelf, hopefully, for most people. And I just cannot wait to get all of the accessories on there and get some figures on there and show you what it looks like. But first, we're going to look at the figure that comes exclusively to this set, which is the Bib Fortuna Tatooine. Okay then, so here is the exclusive figure that you get in the packet, and I've got to say, even though the figure and the card back was protected very well in that cardboard box, there is no damage to the bubble or anything, but the card back, there's something going on with the card back, and I'm quite happy to be opening this one. I would definitely not be happy to send this one off for grading, for example. There's something seriously going wrong with this. So you can see, I don't know if you can see really, but there's a scratch on there. You've got this kind of like white line going down there, and then also the bubble ends here, but then you've got this other sort of like bubble ring going around it like that. Now you often do get that on vintage collection figures and card backs, but never that pronounced and never that big. And I don't know whether you can see on there as well, we've got some white marks down here. These are big scratches around here. So I would not be happy if this was my carded version, I've got to say. Hopefully you guys will be getting ones in better condition, but this looks like a factory thing to me, because I don't think the box would have damaged it like that, because the box has it in a nicely protected, cardboard area sort of thing. So I'm going to be opening this figure up now. It's Bib Fortuna Tatooine. You can see the image of him there. That looks to me like an artist's impression rather than a photo. He looks disgusting sitting there, doesn't he? He has the staff, of course, which you do get with the vintage Kenner version, which you didn't get with the vintage collection standard version. That is a direct nod to the Kenner figure. And of course he did have it in the Book of Boba Fett. He is VC 276, which I think is an error. I think he also shares the number with, is it Commander Colt? I think it is. They both have VC 276, so that is a problem. Not good at all that they keep doing this. And there he is on the back of the card with some of the other figures that are around at the time. Vintage collection logo, Disney and Hasbro on the bottom. Nice enough image and everything. And, it would look great on the wall with all the other Book of Boba Fett figures that we've got. But I would not be happy if I was going to be keeping this one carded. There's a lot of marks on the actual card. That bubble ring going all the way around there. I don't know if you can see that. I'm just trying to get it in the light for you. If you can't see that, I do apologise. But it almost looks like it's been pressed twice. So weird that. Maybe the machine that sort of presses them down. You can see the waffle effect on there. But then you've got this other big ring going around it. So, yeah, and there's an actual indentation there as well. But hey ho, I'm not bothered about this particular one, because we're going to be opening them up right now and taking a look at the figure. Alright then, so here is Bib Fortuna out of the packaging, and I think it's right to just do a quick comparison with the Return of the Jedi version. From a height perspective more than anything, they are the same characters, so you really want them to be the same height, which they are, which is great. Of course, the actual Bib Fortuna from Return of the Jedi is much skinnier and leaner. He hasn't been sort of feasting on all the riches that the new one has been since he took over from Jabba the Hutt. But first impressions of the actual new Bib Fortuna figure is that it is an absolutely exceptional figure. The sculpting work is phenomenal. The soft goods are glorious. Really good quality soft goods, nice and thick. You'll see the pattern underneath in a second when we take a closer look at him. But I just thought I'd put him up against the actual Bib Fortuna from Return of the Jedi first off. But man, the sculpting's really good. The tentacle things coming out of his head are really soft, and you can manipulate those, which is great. But it's just in terms of the whole sculpt of the figure, it is a really good figure. And I'm wondering, when we take a look at the legs in a second, whether they can be repurposed for a Malakili, perhaps. We'll have to wait and see. But this is that sort of sized figure, isn't it? Your Malakili type sized figure. But let's take a look at the figure in much closer detail. Okay, so first up we have Bib Fortuna's staff, which is a giant nod to the original Kenner version. Of course, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau make sure that they put Easter eggs in their shows, and this is no exception, and it's a very cool one to have. And it's just a brown piece of plastic, really. It's quite bendy, but it does the job, and it looks pretty cool. Alright then, so here is a close-up look of Bib Fortuna, and you can really see how well they've captured his likeness in that head sculpt. Phenomenal paintwork as well. You can really see the eyes and the teeth all popping out. Just really good. The weathering on the head as well, bringing out all of that detail. Just an amazing sculpt, really is. The likeness is incredible. And as we go down the figure, we can see there's his lovely soft goods, sort of like double. And then when you open it up, look at the pattern on his sort of like skirt there. Just really, really good. We'll just open him out a little bit, move that out of the way. You can see some of his jewellery hanging down. All of that detail and paint apps on the figure is great. Of course, not everybody is going to open this figure. A lot of you are going to choose to keep him carded, but I am glad that I have opened him, especially with the condition of the card back that I had anyway. But I think, you know, I can definitely make room for this bib in my display somewhere, whether I have him on the throne or whatever. But, you know, just a great looking figure, exclusive to the set. You're not going to be able to get him elsewhere. And let's just take a look under the skirt, just to see those legs that I was talking about. So there you go. They're kind of like Ahsoka and Boba's legs, but bigger. And I think with the boots there, and if you had some detailing around there, I think you could get a Malakili out of this figure. I really do. He has the belly as well. Of course, they would have to resculpt that to get rid of some of that. But essentially, I think this isn't too far off, especially from the legs down. If you gave him some brown boots, I don't think you're too far off a Malakili Rancor Keeper. But phenomenal figure, really, really good. Soft goods are incredible. Glad I've opened him, basically. And yeah, it's not really too much else to say apart from maybe look at the articulation. The head is on a ball there, but you're not going to get too much motion there because of those things that are hanging down. The shoulders are on ball hinges. They go all the way round. He has hinges at the elbows, hinges at the wrist. He has his spindly fingers as well, but he can hold the staff. He has a ball joint there on his torso, but he also does have a waist swivel as well. He does have the new barbell hips, obviously hinges at the knees, and he has rocker ankles as well, which you don't really need for this figure, essentially. He's just going to be sitting there in the throne, but they've done it anyway. And as I said, hopefully that means we will be getting more figures of a certain size that are going to utilise those legs maybe. But yeah, great figure to have in the set. Really, really happy with it. All right, so looking at the instructions, it says that bag A has a few accessories in here which are going to be going on the shelf at the back of the set. And in that bag E, you have some various pots and kettles and pots and pans and things. These horns and this thing which looks like a kind of like a tortoise shell or something. Maybe this is a shell of some kind of animal in the Star Wars universe. I'm sure somebody watching will be able to let me know in the comments what this actually is. But you can see there it does have that piece cut out in there, and at the back of the set there is a piece that matches that on the wall, so that's going to plonk straight on the wall at the back of the set. So we're going to do all that now and get that on there. Now, of course, you can set this up however you like. You can have these pieces wherever you want, apart from that piece, because that also does sit in like a little tray for it there. But essentially you can have these pots and pans and things like that wherever you like, but I'm just going to put them in the places where they tell you to put them in the instructions, just from a point of reference and for the video review. Next up we have bag B. Lots of accessories in there as well, so let's get all of those out. Now I've got to say at this point that it is absolutely crazy how many accessories you get in this set and how many small pieces there are. I can imagine a few people might lose some of these, so just be a bit careful because there are some tiny weeny like shot glasses like that. You've got a candlestick, more candlesticks and trays and boxes and little tables and things like that. And once again, I'm going to put them exactly where it tells me to put them in the instructions. Next up we have baggie C, although it's not a baggie, it's more of like a tray full of accessories, and that's because it's got to house the spit. And at the moment you can see we've got the Kowakian monkey on there. The fire piece is separate. This all came built. You've got the spit there that actually turns around, which is just absolutely awesome. So I'm just going to put that there for the time being. You can change the spit out to have a piece of meat on there, and you can see the bones and the ribs sticking through, which is pretty cool. Once again, nice different accessory there that you can interchange it with. And then there's some other bits and pieces on here. I think we've got what looks like a tray, which is going to house like this bottle and a couple of like goblets or wine glasses or what have you. Okay, so I found my first issue with the set. These three pieces here are supposed to sit in those holes there, and then that's supposed to go on there. And unfortunately, I just cannot get these to stay in their holes. They eventually fall out. They're far too fiddly, and unfortunately they just come out and just keep tipping over. So I'm not going to put that on there because I'll be forever picking it up. Baggie D. has some other like goblets in it and more drinks, some pots and pans and things like that. And again, it tells you where to set those up, so I'm just going to put those in place now. E in the instructions is the throne, which sits there, but then the baggie for E is all of the soft goods pelts, which is pretty cool. Now, we are going to be getting some more of these in that Jabba set as well, which are going to be slightly different to these ones. But these look really good. Animal pelts, nice detail on them and everything. We're just going to lay them underneath the throne. Again, you can put them wherever you like, can't you? But there you go. I think that looks pretty cool like that. So there we go. If I just put that down. There's the animal pelts. Baggie F is apparently for the left side of the throne. So we've got some pieces in here which are supposed to mimic pillows and things like that. I think in the Jabba set you're actually getting soft goods versions of these. So I believe that these go kind of like that. And then you've got some plates and more like spotchka, more plates with food in them, little baggie with some money in there. So all of this stuff you've got to lay basically on your dais here. So we'll do that now. Okay then, so there we have it set up like it would be from the Book of Boba Fett, with Bib Fortuna sitting in the throne. Of course, there would be some other figures inside it hanging around the back before Boba and Fennec Shand burst their way in and basically try and kill everyone and take over the throne room. Of course, I could put Boba Fett on there with Fennec Shand on the arm of the chair, which I probably will do, and that's probably how I'm going to have it set up on my shelf until I get that new Jabba, because the Jabba that I have at the moment I'm going to keep on my barge basically. So that's probably how we'll have it set up for the time being. I can't wait to get hold of Squidhead in that 4-pack, because Squidhead was in the Book of Boba Fett. He actually runs off up the back stairs. He escapes. He doesn't get killed by Boba. So it'd be good to get him, to have him hanging around the back. But of course, when we get that Jabba set and we get 8D8 and some other figures, and we've got plenty of other figures from the line that we can put into our Jabba's palace. We've got Yak Face and just loads of different figures that we can put in there. So I'm going to look forward to doing that. That's it for this review though. The next time you will see this in my collection, it will be probably in my new collection room on a shelf, looking awesome with loads of stuff going on in and around it. But in terms of the review, of course, I'm very, very happy that the Vintage Collection has something like this for world building. I'm glad that Hasbro have made it. A little bit on the pricey side, but as I said, it is absolutely huge. And once you get all your figures in there, I'm sure you're going to be really, really happy with it. The detail and the paint apps and all the care of work that's gone into it is of a really high standard, it has to be said, and it is worthy of the Vintage Collection tag. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I just want to show you very quickly the top here. There's the grills. That's where the light shines through. So if you get your lighting really, really correct, you can have that lighting and have it all dim and have the lighting coming through the top and make it all moody and everything. But this is just my review of it, just so you can see all of the pieces and just to let you know that I'm really, really happy with it. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I want to thank everybody for watching this video, and thank you to our Patreon supporters and channel members. As always, you know, your support makes this channel happen basically. So thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one.